This is Kev Millar from the 2004 World Champion Boston Red Sox, and you're listening to Boston's Big Three podcast presented by Ride the Wave Media.
Kevin Millar. Cowboy up.
Cowboy up.
Let me say something really quick. Kevin Millar, a little shout out there. Thank you for the plug for Boston's Big Three. Sent that in the chat for Kevin Millar because we had that audio. Jake Seymour, just like, who is that? And that disappointed me. Did that make me feel a little old? He said I think he was born when Cowboy Up was going on.
Not even that though, but like, if you know this, quote unquote, if you say you know much about Boston sports, you flex about Boston sports, and you don't know Kevin Millar, like your legitimacy tanks. Like I don't care if you were never born. I wasn't born when like Yaz was playing all this. Obviously, he's not as good as Yaz, but I'm saying he's the face of the entire whole Cowboy. He was literally the driving stimulus, the catalyst behind Cowboy Up, behind getting just weird with it. A bunch of idiots. He literally started all that stuff.
That interview between him and Dan Shaughnessy might be one of the best Red Sox interviews of all time. Just don't let the Sox win today. Don't let them win.
Yeah, he was a driving force, like you said, for 03-04. And the whole Cowboy Up, a bunch of idiots. You got to put some respect on Kevin Millar's name.
Not even respect. You just got to know who the guy is. He's like, I have no idea who that is. I'm like, all right, then you're just born in a rock. Jake Seymour, I lost faith, credibility, and a whole lot of not respect, but just how do you not know Kevin Millar? Literally every single 2004 Red Sox documentary, like 45 minutes is on Kevin Millar. Like he's still relevant in today's game. I don't care if you're born in 2002. My brother's born in 03. He knows exactly who Kevin Millar is.
Yeah, there was like a documentary, I think in 03. It was like the team documentary before you only got a documentary when you won the World Series called Cowboy Up on VHS.
Yeah, so if you know anything about the 2004 Red Sox, you know Kevin Millar. When I saw that, I literally was just like, come on. Like, are you kidding me? I didn't say a word in the chat because I just didn't really care enough. But I'm like, what are we doing?
It's not like he's irrelevant. I think he's on MLB Network. He's like an analyst or something.
He still goes to Red Sox games.
He threw out a first pitch. He threw a first pitch while he was still an active player on another team's roster. No one does that. Who does that?
Woke Gene Raid Boston's, what's his name?
Boston Sports Center 617. Good plug.
Well, once I figure it out, I'm sending a Gene Raid at him. All right. This is Boston's Big Three, episode 31, presented by Ride the Wave Media. I always have to stall so I can pull up the ad read. And we were presented by 1 in 100. New sponsor. 1 in 100 is the only online raffle website giving fans and experience seekers the chances to win tickets to live sporting events, concerts, music festivals, and more. Celtics games, Bruins games, concerts, all of those give you yours with 1 in 100. And I'm not talking about the cheap seats. I'm not talking about the thing you need to bring your binoculars to. You're not going to get a nosebleed because the altitude's all that high. No, you're getting good seats, like not front row. Like, yeah, sometimes we give up front row. Either way, really good deal. Like, really good deal. It's only a couple bucks to enter into the raffle. Go ahead, enter. Whether it be from your desktop or mobile device. So you could be in the bathroom on your phone. You could be at work, trying to hide from your boss, just doing other stuff like going to 1 in 100. And you can win tickets to your favorite events. And it has never been so easy and fun. You just choose your desired event. Literally any desired event that we have listed, you can choose from. Just purchase a raffle ticket into the draw and you can be the lucky winner. Mookie Betts is a Red Sox Dodger combo. I don't even know. Mookie Betts officially traded to the Dodgers now, but didn't the trade get worse? Just, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a huge baseball guy, but Brandon, if you want to break down this Mookie Betts trade.
Absolutely. Well, if you're keeping track, it's Tuesday today. This time Tuesday last week, Mookie Betts was traded for the first time. And then again, he was traded on Friday to the Dodgers again. And then finally on Monday yesterday, he was traded to the Dodgers. He's been traded to the Dodgers 3 times in the last week or so. And it's not a great situation. It's not the way you want a trade like this, a blockbuster trade to go down, but it is what it is. The Red Sox finally got what they wanted. It ended up not being a 3-team trade and just a 1-1 with the Los Angeles Dodgers, where they're sending Alex Verdugo Connor Wong and Jeter Downs to the Red Sox in exchange for David Price, Mookie Betts, and just about half of David Price's contract. So we got a lot of talent coming in. This was one of those situations where we're not getting any starting pitching back to replace David Price or Rick Porcello or those guys that we lost this offseason, but we're instead getting talent that will likely be able to use to flip in the near future for a guy like that, if that's what the Sox are looking for. But it is definitely a sad day in Boston where Mookie Betts, World Series champion Mookie Betts, and David Price are no longer in Red Sox uniforms, and they will be wearing Dodger blue next season.
Well, I mean, just a little bit of a difference there. Mookie Betts is a lot more important to this organization than David Price ever was, ever will be, period. You know what I mean?
I would agree.
This entire MLB trade scenario has been kind of weird, kind of been like a circus for the past couple weeks. Ever since Mookie, like the rumbling started happening, we're going to trade Mookie Betts or whatever. And then deal gets reworked. Then deal gets postponed. Then deal gets reworked again. And then deal finally actually goes through. Yeah. Another deal actually was just canceled between the Angels and somebody else. Not a big MLB guy.
Angels and the Dodgers involving Jock Peterson.
It's been kind of a circus. But MLB actually needs this because NBA offseason, always exciting. Yep. NFL offseason is going to be huge in March and April. And the MLB really doesn't have a draw for offseason kind of stuff like this. It actually really helps their momentum and their exposure in this type of
I would argue that this trade was bigger than any of the trades that happened on NBA trade deadline day this year.
Yeah, no, the deadline took a step back in the NBA this year, but I think that benefited the MLB greatly. Absolutely. That was a huge move for the MLB.
Baseball's being talked about more right now than it ever has been.
For the wrong reasons, perfectly.
Exactly.
This is what we needed. Literally, in the Sox 4 days, I praised controversy. Like, anything controversial is the only thing the MLB is going to have going for it if they want to dominate an offseason. I'm not sure if we talked about this last week, but I'm not going to bring it up again because this is stupid. There are people on Twitter.com, the website. They are praising a billionaire for saving money. They're praising John Henry for saving money because he traded away a player, the single greatest player in the homegrown, whatever you want to call it, just going up through the system, the farm league, the best Boston prospect of all time, already won an MVP, Gold Glover winner every single year. He has the coolest name in baseball, and you trade him away to save not a couple bucks, a couple $1 million, but what's $1 million to a billionaire?
The problem is he's getting paid $27 million this year, and it's his last year under control. And he's verbally said, like, hey, I'm not going to sign an extension. I really want to test free agency and start a bidding war over me.
Do you think we should have, did the haul we get back, that's nowhere close to what is the same for Mookie Betts.
Well, no one's ever going to replace what Mookie was able to bring to that Red Sox team. There's going to be a vacant hole for a while. It's just the talent that's coming back. You can't allow Mookie Betts to walk away from the Red Sox next year for literally nothing, for peanuts basically.
But even then, every single year in baseball, it's almost anybody's. Like in football,
right.
You know the teams that'll be there. In baseball, you kind of know the teams that'll be there, but it's really just who gets hot in the playoffs. Because you see the Nationals. Nobody except Babs who thought the Nationals were going to win. Who thought they were going to win. They win. It's just like a momentum thing. Why not? If this Mookie situation is going to end poorly, I would trade Mookie for a playoff run over these scrubs that are coming back. Like, I would trade
scrubs. Mookie. They're good prospects. They're highly rated prospects.
Prospects.
We're trying to build for the future for the first time in I don't know how many years. 8, 10 years.
So when are we going to see these prospects play? Because that's another thing I hate about the MLB. You get a prospect, you don't see him for another 45 years.
You're going to see Verdugo starting in right field probably on opening day. The other two, Jeter Downs and Connor Wong, you're not going to see. You may never see them in a Red Sox uniform.
That is exactly my point.
They may they may be trade pieces to get starting pitching eventually.
That's what we got. That Yohan Moncada guy, we traded him for sale.
Yeah, exactly.
So something like that.
Exact same
Are they
situation.
good enough to get pitching like that?
Yes, Jeter Downs is 100%.
And then how good is what's his name? Verdugo?
Alex Verdugo. Grew up a Red Sox fan. He's from Mexico.
1 to 10. Oh, wait. Doesn't he have all the red flags off the field, though? Like, he's just hogging them? Like, he has that many just problems
There were some, but Red Sox management came out and said like, yeah, we're not worried about anything. We did our due diligence and we've talked to Alex. Who's like, that's not going to be a problem whatsoever.
Yeah. Do you think that? Yeah, you don't know what a problem's gonna happen. We thought Aaron Hernandez was a perfectly fine human. His hobby's murdering people. You don't know, like, not obviously he's not gonna go that length, but you can't predict a red flag. And I think it's a telltale sign. It's like, hey, this guy has a weird history. Let's trade the best player in baseball, top 3, and get this guy back. All right, 1 to 10, how good is this scrub? Because I'm
Alex
not saying he's
Verdugo?
good until I see it.
I think his ceiling is Andrew Benintendi's best season.
What a clown! Oh my god. I hate the Red Sox.
You take 2017, 2018, Andrew Benintendi. That's likely the ceiling of what you're going to get from Verdugo.
Awesome. Was he an all-star that year?
No, Andrew Benintendi's never been an all-star.
Awesome. Oh, John
Making
Henry.
his sound lovely.
John Henry is a moron.
Tyler's pissed.
It's not even that I'm mad because I'm not as heavily into baseball, but I mean, it can't be this hard to run a baseball team. Like, how important is this international pool money?
Oh, hell if I know. It's good for the Japanese players coming over. That's about all you use it for, and the Dominican guys coming up. It's good for a prospect every 2-3 years or so.
So a chance at every 2 to 3. So we're taking a chance every couple of years. Baseball's so stupid.
It's like
Why don't we just
that's what the Angels are piling on for
there's no
Ohtani.
salary cap in baseball, right? Just the rich teams stay rich.
The problem with it, that's the other reason the Red Sox did this trade, because once you're over the salary cap, you're paying taxes that pile on every single year. And the Red Sox were going to pay like $35 million on top of what they're paying the rest of their players right now, just to basically have a team that expensive. So you're paying that much more money, $35+ million to keep the team that you have, because they are so freaking expensive. And now that the Red Sox have traded those 2 big contracts, they brought it down and their luxury tax is resetting. If they were to say they were to keep David Price's contract and were to, let's say, extend Mookie Betts, they would have been paying like $50-60 million 2-3 years down the line when those contracts came due and they were paying these things out.
All right, I have a proposal. Everyone at Fenway just complains. Like, they just go to Fenway. Oh my God, it's so fun. Let me take an Instagram picture. Oh my God, Fenway stinks. I hate it. Like, they're idiots. They never pick a side. Why don't you just take all the ticket revenue, because they charge you basically like an arm and a leg and like your back molar just to get into the stadium? Why don't you take all that money and just put it towards contracts? I know that's not how it works, but like, if you want attendance to rise up, you like come to the game for Mookie. Also, I have another thing. Yeah, I mean, that's just a genius idea. You put all the concession stand, everything, all the expenses that are basically meaningless. Like, I would rather see Mookie Betts play than eat a Fenway Frank at a game. But anyways,
and that money could go to his contract.
Why did we make it more important to sign JD Martinez and Mookie Betts? Like, why didn't we let JD walk? I see it more as you can have almost anybody be DH.
It wasn't their choice. That's what the problem was. It was a player option.
Oh, he opted in. That's
right after. Yeah, as soon as the World Series ended, he had a few days to opt in or out. It was his choice completely. So you have the club option or a player option. In JD's case, it was a player option, and he said yes. He likely wasn't going to find that much money on the open market again.
Yeah, gets your back.
For that long term.
Hi guys. So.
Oh hey, oh hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on? Listen, because I get my little 1 minute, 2 minute take, and then it's over. So, listen, Mookie Betts right here. Picture Mookie Betts on the cover of the Yawkey Way Report. I'll be doing some things this summer with them. I'll be down at Fenway this summer. Absolutely sucks that they dragged that completely out. What are you shaking your head at? You're making a goofy face there. All right, they're gonna be. Listen, Mookie Betts, AL MVP 2018, World Series champion 2018. Absolutely stinks. But guess what? The Spike King is turning on this. Tyler Miller, you're going to be sad all year. You're going to be crying. You're going to be going against the Red Sox. You know what I'm doing? Just like Kevin Millar.
Taking off your pink hat.
Up. I'm cowboy up. I am all in on the Red Sox this year. You know why I'm all in on the Red Sox this year? One player does not make the entire team. Guess what? Right. There was a team last year that won the World Series that moved on from a giant player, probably one of the best players, the best player, probably the second best player in all of MLB, Bryce Harper. And you know what I said? That team caught fire during the season. And I said, that team's going to win the World Series because the team is coming together, says, screw this guy's money. Now, it's a different situation. You're not going to say timeout because Mookie got traded. But no matter what, Mookie was leaving. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
This happened in 2004.
Everybody loved Mookie Betts. There's so many people who hate Bryce Harper. Like, the team chemistry, they're still like commented at each other. Like, Jackie Brown's like, oh, I'm going to miss you. And I'm like, yeah, Mookie Betts wanted to stay in Boston. Bryce Harper wanted money. That's simple. He had to sit down and interview.
Hold on a second here. Hold on a second.
You can't compare it to Bryce Harper. You got to go back to 2003.
Give me a break, dude. There's no way he wanted to stay in Boston over the $300 million he's trying to get with Dodgers. Stop it.
Yeah.
He's verbally said he wants to play in Boston.
What else is he going to say?
He was leaving next year anyways. He was never staying in Boston.
I'm pulling up. I'm simply pulling up receipts.
Shut up. I have always been a believer in business. If you know you're not going to get the return on him, then trade it away. Now, I feel like the Red Sox, I have no idea about baseball. I feel like they got nothing for Mookie Betts when what they should have thought out of it. I agree on that one.
Something.
But if this business, if you know that you have someone like a couple years ago when we had Rondo and it was his last year on his contract and they ended up trading him away to, I believe, the Mavs, they got something out of it. You should get something out of it. This guy right here, Mookie Betts, was never coming back to the Boston Red Sox. Absolutely never coming back. Boston Red Sox fans, whoever you are out there, you got to get over it, and it's time to move on. And this is the time to come together. Don't go to Fenway and be a Tyler Miller and be all, oh, like we're going to boycott the Red Sox. No, the city bands together to show Mookie Betts. The team shows Mookie Betts it's not all about money. It's the team that comes together and wins it all. I'm all in on the Red Sox this year.
This happened in 2003 also. Red Sox traded Nomar, and people were pissed. Won the World Series next year.
Mookie Betts, though?
No, but he was good. He was just hurt all the time.
Didn't they trade him?
Was Mookie hurt all the time? No.
Mookie's never been hurt.
Exactly.
Also,
you have a guy who's going to play 150-something games a year. I will never understand this Mookie Betts deal. Like, you can give me all the logistics, important parts, but when it comes down to common sense, will you pay the best outfielder, one of the best outfielders, one of the best players, best hitters in the entire league to stay in your system when this isn't an opinion. He verbally said, you can say, this is what he's supposed to say. He verbally told a Red Sox Hall of Famer, and I would give him $400 million. I'd give him $500 million. It's not my money. I don't get why people are caring this much about saving someone else's money, saving the top 0.00001% who will never even give you $20 if you ask them.
No, back to Bob's point, though. You need to build a team. It's not just one player. Mookie Betts can't win a World Series by himself. If you're in the luxury tax, you can't afford other players to build your roster with. Brandon said we trade these prospects or starting pitching that we desperately need. Our bullpen always seems to suck midway through the season and continue to keep sucking into the playoffs. We need pieces. Mookie Betts cannot win a championship by himself. We need to build a better roster overall.
I will say this, though. I know my take today contradicts what I said before. I think we should keep Mookie. I want Mookie long term. They should throw the Brinks truck at him, back it up and unload it. But there's absolutely no way that Mookie is staying. I don't see that, actually, especially after this week. That's it. It's time to move on, Tyler. Move on. Be happy. This team will come together. This is the
only thing that could keep me happy is one last thing. So does this make it easier for us to re-sign Bogarts and Devers?
Bogarts is already signed long-term. Devers is the next.
He has, 4 more years on his deal?
Bogarts? He just signed a 5-year extension. Yeah,
so the 5 years starts now?
And,
I didn't know that was.
Yes. I'm not exactly sure.
If this guy's homegrown talent, you don't believe in the organization to find another Mookie Betts down the line or someone that could be similar or someone that can live up to that? You don't believe in that, Tyler? You don't think that there's anybody in the system?
Show me anyone other than him that came up that was similar.
Xander Bogaerts.
Okay, so that's one.
Yeah, but Xander Bogaerts isn't as good as Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts is on a different fucking level. He's on a different fucking pedestal. He's up here.
Never know.
Xander Bogaerts is here.
All right, let's talk about good Boston teams. Actually,
wait.
Oh, we got a few more takes.
Wait. Just one more. No one's talking about David Price, which is funny. I feel like if this was just on its own,
He's
people.
World Series MVP.
I feel like, but Price got shit on a lot here in Boston. Not a lot of people like Price.
Yeah, because he's sort of beefing with Dennis Eckersley. Like, why would you even do that? Like, it makes no sense. Like, it makes literally zero sense to me.
Well, you're gonna have those guys that aren't fan favorites, but they're still performing for your teams.
Like Tyler Miller.
I'm not a fan
Exactly.
favorite, but I've consistently performed for this team.
Come on.
All right.
Have you guys realized
We're gonna
how
read.
big
We're gonna
David
read a
Price's
quick
head is?
couple of like our jersey giveaway contest. We're gonna read a couple of the submissions, and we're gonna see who moves on to the next round. We're gonna do 3 at a time, and then the best of the 3 makes it to the next round, and then we're just gonna keep narrowing them down.
And here we go. First of all, you have to be listening to this. If hopefully you're listening right now, you gotta be listening, and you gotta reach out to me. When we pick the winner, you reach out to thespikeking@gmail.com and tell me that you actually won this, and when we review
No,
it.
we're not gonna
That's
post
the only
it.
way. We're not posting the winner. You gotta listen. You gotta listen to this whole entire podcast, and we'll announce the winner at the very, very end of this podcast.
All right, so we got 16 submissions. We'll just break it up into 4 apiece. Yeah, like we said, listen, let us know, and then we'll post it after you let us know and everything like that. Great podcast for all things Boston. Why does his submission comment, what do you want to call it, review? Why does David Ortiz use? Oh my God, I can't read. I'm
terrible.
actually dyslexic.
Just read it.
Why does David Ortiz hate steroids in baseball? Because gravy is his drug of choice. Lame.
That's comedy.
Boo.
I love the banter on here. And the rant Spike King goes on. From the scratchers, the underappreciated Babs' brain, Tyler's WWE seats, and plenty of Bud Lattes, this is the most random yet on point hot takes for Boston sports. I love it. I really want to know if the rest of those scratchers treated Spike like Demi Lovato did during her national anthem. So he listened to this episode, which I appreciate.
that one.
He listened to our previous episode. I appreciate that.
He's currently #1 right now out of the last.
I like that one.
What?
Out of 2. Yeah, out of 2.
Yeah,
You're
because
doing
the first one sucked.
great. You're doing great.
The first one, dude, thanks for trying. As a Dallas sports fan and a Patriots fan, I love this podcast. Contractually saying, go Texans.
I want to tell. I already he doesn't win because I already gave him a gift. I gave him a special gift. I know who he is. I already know who he is, and I'm giving him a little. I don't want to say what it is because I haven't shipped it out yet, but he's got something on the way.
Last one.
Dawson William. He's always in my DM. Dawson William, a Texan from Michigan.
That doesn't make no sense.
Dallas sports fan. All right. Last one is best podcast out there 100% for the people of Boston. The only thing that can top it is if Tom Brady stays. So congrats, Juan Carlos. You made it on to the next round.
Yeah, that's good.
Speaking of that last comment, I'm convinced Babs just wants to watch the world burn. Yes, they're logical takes for not building a team around Tom Brady and Mookie Betts, but I'm convinced Babs wants to watch the people suffer.
Can we speak in the next thing about Tom Brady? Because now that we have Stafford on here, I need to go back and forth here. And I'm going to lead it in. Don't even need Tyler Miller. So this week, they're out. See you later. This week that came out, more information. So I've been saying this. Tom Brady to the Dallas Cowboys was my dark horse. I've been saying this. If you listen on or you've been watching this, I've been saying this. How long have I been saying this? Don't call it
for like
never
2 weeks.
Wait, to the Cowboys?
Yeah, I've
To
been
the
saying
Cowboys.
this for a while.
You said airwaves?
I've been saying it. I've been putting it
What's a
out
fact
there.
check?
But then all of a sudden, Michael Irvin says it, and then he's like, "Oh, I never even thought of this. I never thought of this." I've been saying that Jerry Jones wants to screw over Robert Kraft. Blah blah blah. Doesn't matter. I want to track this back, Stafford, because it's been a while since we talked.
All right.
Tom Brady's Hulu commercial goes out there. I'm not going anywhere. Everyone fucking loses their minds.
Yeah,
in Patriot Station.
I was on the last episode. I didn't get to talk about this. That commercial does not mean he's staying. That's not what the commercial means.
But let me. I'm painting a picture here.
All right.
That night, I had a couple Bud Lattes in me, and I posted about it, and I said, Brady's not gonna stay. Like Brady's going. If he's gonna stay, he would have already signed. He's going to test free agency. And everyone calls me stupid, and everyone says, Spike King, you don't know what you're talking about, and I'm gonna unfollow you. You're not a real Patriots fan. Then, every day that goes by, more people start backing off, like, oh, maybe he's not going to stay. Oh, well, he's just going to test free agency. He'll be back. Oh, well, these other teams are going to make offers. Okay, well, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean, we lost Skarnecki, but it's okay. He's coming back. You guys have to wake up, dude. So already the Pats are going to have a cap hit, right? Right away, because he's going to test free agency. There's no way he's signing before the deadline starts. So, or the market opens. He's going to go get wined and dined by Vegas. He's going to get wined and dined by LA. And I think the Cowboys are going to make an offer to him. Those are the 3 teams in the running, and I would say Indianapolis, another dark horse over there. He's going to see everything. I know you're shaking your head. He's going to see everything, go back to the Patriots. Hopefully by then, Belichick has made a few moves. I'm saying this right now. Belichick is purposely not going to put weapons around Brady. He's going to make him walk away. He's not going to make, like, the only way he makes Brady stay. Why you go ahead, talk. I know you want to say something. Go ahead, go.
Is it my turn now?
Yeah, I'm letting you because you're making faces at me, and I want you to talk. Because
yeah.
then I'm going to spin
All
it
right.
and throw it back
All
in
right,
your
Jose,
face.
listen. All right, 1, Indy doesn't even get a meeting. Indy does not even come close to getting a meeting because they're interested in Phillip Rivers. That's 1. 2.
Doesn't mean that they can't make an offer.
Oh, no, my turn. 2. All right, 2. Belichick is not going to purposely sabotage his team just to get Brady away from the team. He's going to build the team as he always does.
He sabotage his team. How about Super Bowl 52?
Okay, that's just a conspiracy theory. I'm not even going to
Okay, but I'm just saying.
Gotta
I'm
go
just
grab your
saying.
tinfoil hat again.
There was a YouTube video for 18 minutes where it was talking about how he threw the game, but I don't really buy it. Back to the Hulu commercial, though. Tom Brady is not staying because of that Hulu commercial. That's not what it meant. He meant he's staying in football. He's not retiring. He did this for money, and that's exactly how it's going to work. He needs to get people's attention, and that was the best line possible to get people's attention. And it went viral, and it makes sense. Tom Brady's going to get a visit with Dallas. I think he will get a visit with Dallas, but it's purely to get headlines. He has no intention of going to Dallas Cowboys. Nobody in the organization has even talked about it. And after Michael Irvin said it, as they said, it's speculation. Everyone in that entire locker room, in that entire building, we've never even had a conversation about bringing Tom Brady in. That's what I believe. I don't really think he has a chance of going to Dallas.
Yeah,
Things can change.
I agree with Stafford on that. Literally, report today about the Cowboys trying to get Dak Prescott to re-sign before the market
They're
opens.
close to a deal. According to my source, they are close to a deal.
It's called
According
Michael
to my
Irving.
source, Joe Stafford, they're close to a deal.
It's called Michael Irving being the little mouthpiece of Jerry Jones and just spewing something out there and seeing what the public reaction is going to be for based on the homegrown, like Dallas Cowboy fans. Do you guys want Brady or you guys want Dak? We still have 1 month away till free agency actually opens up. So things can change easily over the next 4 weeks where maybe the Cowboys are like, okay, we can still make a legitimate offer to Tom Brady, or they just come in, walk him, hey, what's going on? Let's have some lunch. See you later. But no matter what, he's meeting with LA, he's meeting with Vegas. He's going to have that. I'm not saying Belichick's going to purposely sabotage Brady coming back, but I'm saying the way to get Brady back, he wants weapons. Belichick's going to have to make moves right away when free agency starts and put pieces around there. So when Brady comes back and says, hey, Bill, I've had these offers. What do you have? Well, Tom, we've actually added this O-line piece. We added a wide receiver for you. We're going to draft this tight end. This is what we plan on doing. I think Belichick's just going to sit back a little bit and not make those moves and not make those splashy moves that makes Brady come back. There's got to be something there.
I think he's a little bit pissed off that Gronk did this last year, where the point where he couldn't get a replacement for these guys. So I do think he'll jump into free agency a little bit more aggressively this time and try to get pieces around Brady or the next guy just to fill his team out, just so he can say he did a good job in the early parts of free agency as he couldn't do last year because of Gronk. That's just my view.
Yeah,
but when it comes to the draft, I think the New England Patriots are targeting Thaddeus Moss in the 3rd and 4th round. He's a 3rd and 4th round right now. The whole generational thing doesn't really do a lot for me. He's not drafting because he's Randy Moss's son. He's drafting because he's a good football player. In the LSU crazy run that Joe Burrow had, Thaddeus Moss was a consistent piece in that offense, and he made some of the craziest catches a guy of his size has ever made in college football. Against Alabama, he made a unbelievable sideline catch, one-handed, turning 3 different ways. It was kind of the most athletic play I've ever seen for a tight end that big. He's not an Aaron Hernandez guy. He's a big tight end, but he's fat. He's quick. He's not fast. He's quick, and he can make those catches. And they're targeting him in the 3rd and 4th round. We have 2 conditional picks in the 3rd and 4th rounds, and I guarantee you Thaddeus Moss is one of those picks.
I just want fans out there that are listening to just, hey, prep yourself, brace yourself. Tom Brady might not be on the Patriots next year. That's simple.
Gonna get
just
traded for
like
Mookie
that.
Betts.
No, but
Alright, can we talk about the best
we trade Tom Brady to the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers make a deal with the Dodgers. The Dodgers send the Patriots. This is hurting my head.
Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts goes back to the Red Sox via trade with the Patriots.
No,
Bingo.
This isn't anything
Easy.
new, though. when Garoppolo's contract was coming up before he traded him to San Francisco, you know what John Lynch did? He asked about Tom Brady's availability before he went after Garoppolo. And Belichick considered it. And then Kraft said, you're not trading the greatest quarterback of all time, and made him trade Garoppolo.
Stafford, that's why I'm saying about the Belichick sabotaging thing. He wanted to keep Garoppolo because of the long-term thing. Belichick has all the power here. Belichick has all the power now. It all falls, especially when you have the reports of Robert Kraft saying, you know what? It's up to Belichick and what he wants to do. So it really comes down to if Brady wants to come back, even if he takes less money, Belichick could be like, you know what? We're all set. We're going to move forward. He could leave. He could leave Brady high and dry and just say, you know what? That's it. We're going to move forward as an organization. It's very interesting.
That's a little bit different than what you said earlier, though, because earlier you said he was intentionally sabotaging the team. I can see Belichick saying, you know what, thank you for your years of service, give him a nice handshake, and he's out the door. I understand that point of view, because that's very Belichick. That's what Belichick's done his whole career. But to intentionally sabotage a team and not sign and trade for guys, that's a little bit different. That's where I disagree a little bit.
I'm not going to – I'm just spitballing when I talk.
Yeah.
But I would say this. It would be interesting for another Belichick, because you just said that. Great point there. We'll move on after. 20 years of being on the New England Patriots, how many times has he walked away from guys? Pat's Hall of Fame.
Ty Law, Willie McGinnis, Richard Seymour, Lawyer Malloy,
Chandler Jones.
Chandler Jones.
But even guys in the recent times of, like, let's say
Malcolm Butler,
Danny Amendola, or, you know, fucking Brandon Cooks, like, just trades him back away. Like, you know, it doesn't matter. The only one player he's done is Tom Brady. He's kept him around. This is the time that Belichick has the power and says, you know what? Let's move on from Brady, because I want to still prove that I can move on from any single piece and we still have a competitive team out there. And like I said, if they move on from Brady, they will still be in the playoffs next year. And I still think they win the AFC East.
We just mentioned Chandler Jones. I just want to have a quick question. Did anyone watch the John Bones fight?
No, but I know he dominated.
Do you guys regularly watch UFC, like the main cards?
No.
Right, never mind.
T-Gun's out there.
Only if the Notorious
T-Guns is out there listening, and he's probably yelling right now. He watches.
Yeah, all right.
T-Guns,
if you're listening to this, T-Guns, I need you to come on to just strictly talk UFC with me. Like, I got into it heavy this year, and I just want to. You obviously know who John Bones Jones is. So when I was watching his fight, I just couldn't stop thinking about Chandler Jones. Also, mammoth human being, like 6'5", 245, something like that. His brother could absolutely just ruin him. It doesn't matter how big you are. His brother is one of the most intimidating people on the planet. But I don't know. It's just the whole. Imagine just getting a noogie growing up and you fight with your brother. Yeah, but that's awesome. That is awesome. You get suspended like 5 times. You come back. You're like, all right, dude. Even when I'm not using steroids, I'm trying to just like murder a man.
I don't know. Honestly, he got caught a couple times that fight. A couple times they had him on the ropes a little bit, but then he kind of came back. Obviously, he's the best fighter.
Yeah, that Reyes guy took him all the way to the end.
No, respect the grind, dude. Reyes actually had a good fight. Like, respect.
I want to know what it's like growing up wanting to be a UFC fighter. Like, your friends have to support the stupid stuff that you do. Like, my friends, honestly, my friends don't support the stuff that I do with this media stuff. They just make fun of me saying like I'm an idiot. I'm like, oh, whatever, man. But like, imagine your friends like, hey, I have a UFC fight. You want to come? It's like, what? Like, your hobby is fighting other grown adult men in a steel cage, and just how they eventually, and then they get paid bank, and now they're all best friends. But imagine just growing up just fighting people for a living, and then next thing you know, you're a UFC champion. Like, if John Jones,
those like those second grade, like, oh, I want to be a firefighter, I want to be an astronaut. Yeah, I want to beat the shit out of people for millions of dollars.
I want to put someone in an armbar until they tap, so Dana White raises my hand.
I like to move this on, because I want to go back. I want to go back to the point about Belichick and free agency, and let's move this to the next topic. Bill Belichick, do you think he's been sitting down last weekend and watching the XFL and seeing some of these players out there? And do you think that the Patriots actually pick somebody up? Stafford, I know Stafford's got all this XFL talk.
Yeah, so XFL debuted this week, I'd say, and honestly, surprised a lot of people. Vince McMahon relaunched his failed league from years and years ago, and he made it more about entertainment than last time, which is exactly what it needed to do for this league to survive. After every single big play, interview, F-bomb dropped. First one. Obviously, it's going to get attention. After a kicker missed a field goal, they interview him. Camera in his face. Mic through his mouth. He gets pissed off. It's really entertaining stuff when that happens, especially you're not trying to compete with the NFL anymore. You're trying to make your own entertainment experience. And that's exactly what the alliance of whatever the hell it was. The last thing
The
that happened, and
AF.
they failed out. Yeah, the AF or whatever. After they lasted 3 weeks,
Insurance
that's
company
what they
signed
failed to do because they tried to be like the NFL, and you can't do that because the NFL has a monopoly on this sport. Now, what I will say, kickoff rules really cool. The kicker starts at the 30-yard line. He's alone. Then the two receiving team and the kickoff team line up opposing each other at the 35 and 30 with a lone returner back there. It encourages returns. There was zero touchbacks the entire week in the XFL, which is awesome. Bigger hits. There was a huge hit by a safety coming out of nowhere. It was a touchdown catch pretty much. Bang! Smacked. Head-to-head contact. No penalty. Ball out. That's what people like to see. That's a really cool thing to see. Now, there were a couple standout guys in their XFL debut. Cardale Jones. Oh, we haven't heard that name in a while. 16 for 26, 235 yards and 2 touchdowns. Played well. They won the game. The real standout guy, P.J. Walker. Now, this kid, when I actually watched the game, because I wanted to see what it was going to be about, P.J. Walker reminds me a lot of what Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson does in the pocket. They make things happen. They're kind of scramblers, they're improvisers, and he made things happen. He was 23 of 39 for 272 yards and 4 touchdowns. 4. And he made it look easy. Now, given, the talent level is not on par with the NFL, and I think Belichick knows that, but he's still watching. Of course he's still watching. This is Bill Belichick. He's doing all of the research he can to make his team better. Now, the Patriots don't need they might need a quarterback. We don't really know yet. But he's not really going to invest in these XFL guys for quarterbacks. Receivers, however, maybe we have something. Ricky Proehl's son, Austin Proehl, 5 catches, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kid looked phenomenal. Has a nose for the end zone just like his dad did. Wesley Sutton, he was a safety. We might need a safety. Devin McCourty thinking about retirement. Not this year, but next year. He actually had 2 sacks for New York out of literally nowhere. Didn't play in the box, played from free safety, and came down and sacked twice. I think that this league has potential, but like I said, it's a contingent on them being different than the NFL. It needs to be about entertainment first and needs to be about serving the fans.
Well, what's going to happen is it looks – I unfortunately didn't get to watch any games. I got a couple glimpses on TV and just some of the reactions that I've read online or just to myself. Number one, they're accepting the gambling sports culture when the first game that you had out there had the lines on there. They're actively talking about the over and unders, which is weird because the second game didn't have that on their graphic. Another thing is they have national television spotlight right away. They're on ABC, they're on ESPN, they're on Fox. That's great to have that, where AAF was just NFL Network and it was just tucked away. So it already has that
CBS sponsorship too.
And it just has that. Vince knows all these networks. It already has that big feeling to it. They did, I think, 3.2 million viewers on the first game, which is good. That actually beat out the AAF when they had their first game. Also, they're not really competing against anything yet. It's going to be interesting when March Madness comes next month, and they start competing against college basketball. But the XFL did better than the NBA. The NBA on ESPN Primetime or ABC, like they had better viewership. People still want
yes, they did do better, but the NBA ratings, like the views, that's literally none of that.
Streams. It's all streaming services.
It literally
now.
is. It
it's
quite
all
literally is.
Services.
Literally is. Okay, Mark Cuban was saying this shit on a part of my take shit I was listening to.
Live television's where money is, though, and that's where the sponsorships and advertisements come, and that's why Vince got a $1 billion deal with Fox with WWE, and that's why, because it's live television.
Yeah. Do you know where this world is going? Do you know what? You run a social media company. The whole world is going to social.
I understand that, but all the money that's left over in cable television's live sports. Like, that's where money is.
Yeah. Okay. But I agree with your point saying that how will it test up to March Madness? I think the only thing that could make the XFL survive is if it becomes must-watch TV, like kind of like how NFL weekends are. Obviously not to that extent because the NFL dominates the football. That's why I don't think this is going to be successful. I think it has.
No, I think it will because I see that the XFL is trying new things, and I think the NFL will adopt some of those into the XFL. This is a great way for players. I mean, you made that face, but let's just say like the spider camera, that came from the XFL. There's going to be, it's not like they're going to do the kickoff thing, but there's going to be the little things. Maybe they start doing interviews on the sidelines right after something. Maybe they start adapting that. This is a great way for those players that are fringe candidates that are not going to be in the combine, that are not in the NFL draft, that still need a shot at the actual NFL. And what's going to be good is you might see a lot more turnover of these players that go from the XFL to the NFL. So every year you have somebody new that's on the team. It stays fresh.
I see this more as like a minor league system for the NFL. Like, I think this is more of like kind of like how the big three is in the NBA, how Joe Johnson got a contract out of it. All these people are looking like, I don't think
that's fine.
This has the, yeah, it's fine. But I think it's more of a, let me still show the NFL I still have it type of league, in the fact that there's going to be zero. Oh, there's already zero loyalty. Who was that? He was a defensive coordinator. He got fired already. I don't know what team it is. The first game of the franchise's history, and he's gone. Like, I forget what that was. I don't know. I don't see this in the long run being like, I think it's a sideshow. Like, the best it's going to be is a sideshow.
But I'm going to say this too, that a couple things that they need to change is like, you know, the Guardians, like they should be playing in MetLife. They should be playing in a smaller stadium. They got to be playing in smaller stadiums.
Make it look bigger.
I believe Houston had about 17,000. San Antonio, like if they do go to expansion, they got to get a San Antonio team.
DC sold out.
They had about 24,000 people last year at AAF games. San Antonio wants it. They have certain markets that want football.
The biggest untapped market in the entire United States, continental United States, Portland, Oregon. Oregon. That was literally the perfect place to put a football team.
Another thing too is this league is going to be social media driven. The XFL didn't really have much marketing towards them on television or streaming services or anything. They just went out there and did it. They really weren't talked about a lot. And if you actually follow the XFL's Instagram account and Twitter, hilarious. The way they write, whoever's running their social media is doing a fucking fantastic job. They're doing all the memes. They're making fun of things. They're putting hard-hitting plays out there. That's actually what's going to build them up. WWE knows how to run social media. They always tout how they have more followers and more like things, blah, 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 than the NFL and any NBA and all this and that. I think that's going to be another driving force for them. They can take all those big plays, those big hits, and you have that little clip, and that's going to make you watch. That's something they didn't have back in 2000 when they started the league. That's what's going to keep them going. I fully expect the season to go well. What's great for them is I think March is going to be a down period because of March Madness and free agency. But at the same time, April comes, they go right into the NFL draft. So if you're a football fan and you just want to watch, this is great for you to go right into the NFL draft.
Last thing, what are you doing this weekend? Like, what are you going to do this weekend?
I'm not going to go and sit down and watch the XFL.
No. I'm not. It's not a trick question. This is the leading question. That is the thing that the XFL like doesn't have. Like,
if they had a team in Boston, I would fucking sit down and watch that team. It's just that they're not in our market, and I'm actually surprised that they're not in our market because. But here's the thing: I thought about it again too, because they should be capitalizing off the New England Patriots' love and fan base. There's no stadiums that they could be in. They can't go to Gillette. Kraft would even say no. They don't want that.
Go to Harvard. Go to Harvard.
Anywhere. No, just make it a New England
I don't think they could do any of that. I don't think it has the feel to it. They need like
I have an idea. Obviously, this has zero to do with me. But Pawtucket Red Sox, they're leaving. They're going to Worcester. Why not try to refurbish? Obviously, a ton of money. Try to refurbish the Pawtucket thing. It's not going to work. This is just
McCoy
a far-fetched. Yeah, McCoy. Why not try to just like, hey, we're losing the Paw Sox. Pawtucket is nothing. Like, if you've been there, you just know literally.
What else is in Rhode Island?
Literally nothing. Twin River Casino, my home. And then if you could just try to, even the Rhode Island area, the Providence area, you just make it a New England team. Don't call it the Boston. Don't call it the Massachusetts, blah, blah. Just make it New England. Put a random New Hampshire stadium or just a random Connecticut or Rhode Island.
I think the Rhode Island thing actually works out because I would be someone from Massachusetts that drives down and just goes, hey, you know what?
But they don't have the capital or the fan base to put the investment to build that stadium or to even refurbish the stadium. Like Tyler said, no one's sitting down and watching the XFL on a weekend in their free time. This is the thing that makes the XFL different than all these other experimental leagues. There's been 3 or 4 leagues that have failed in the last 10 years to be the feeder league for the NFL. The NFL is the only major sports league in North America without a minor league system. That's a problem, and they're trying to tap that market. The biggest issue for these leagues is getting a second season. almost every single other league besides USFL, which was years and years and years ago, have not received a second season because they don't have the money to do it. If the
XFL will do
XFL
it though.
How many
if the XFL
seasons?
can capitalize on this season and they can capitalize on their entertainment value and they get that second season, we're seeing the birth of something unbelievable.
How many seasons realistically, based off the first weekend? How many seasons do you think this will go?
2.
I think over under
No,
3.5.
I say
Under.
over. Because listen, I'm a big
Under.
WWE guy. I'm a big Vince McMahon guy. Vince McMahon is pouring every single last dollar he has until he croaks into the XFL. He is so adamant that he does not want to die just to be known as a wrestling promoter. He wants this league to survive. And WWE, crazy enough how it is, their stocks have been going down, but they're not. It's not entertaining anymore. It's not like the '90s. It's not. The product's not the great, but they are making a fuck ton of money right now, and Vince is taking money from that and pouring it right into that. And that's the problem with the AAF last year. They started off good, then all of a sudden the league had no more funding. The fact that Vince has 4 major networks already right off the bat without any product, and he has that, there's money. There's money that comes into the league right there.
But even then, like you can spend all the say. Let me put this as an example.
Here.
Say we put
here. No, stop. Example here. Not to shit on them. The Massachusetts Pirates of Worcester, Arena Football. I've worked for them. I've done 1 season. Guess what? They're going into their 3rd season next year, this year, and they're going to have a 4th season already guaranteed booked because they're going to the TD Garden next year. I'm saying this because I go to those games. Not a lot of fans in the stadium.
Yeah,
I don't know how they make money.
I was getting to.
I don't know how they make any
money. What are they
but they're
broadcast
surviving.
on
They're
that?
still there.
No,
What
but
are
this
they
is the biggest
broadcast
point. You could have put in any amount of money. See, we put $1 million into this show. Nothing matters unless you have a fan base that's interested in your product. Why would, like we said, it's a Saturday afternoon. It's late February or something like that. Late January, early February. Football season just over. Your team's out. The Super Bowl's over. They're coming into a market. Like if I were them, I would have dominated the summer. I would not have touched right after the Super Bowl. I would have done, hey, the summer are the dog days of summer. You put a football league getting people ready for the NFL. Like when NFL season is coming up, all you want to watch is football. Football. You have nothing other than the behind the scenes shows, all that stuff. If you start a league and say you go, I don't know, April-ish to August at the beginning.
I disagree.
And then that gives them, but that also gives the people who are shining is like, hey, you're already hot. Let's just sign you to the 53-man roster to see what happens.
Because that's too long of someone playing for the entire year, where this is perfect because these players that are playing their hearts out right now haven't played in the NFL. Like they've gotten either cut or they haven't been playing, but they've been training for the XFL, getting ready. They play these 11 weeks, whatever it ends up being, 12 weeks at tops. Then all of a sudden it's done in April. Then that's when the NFL draft is. Teams do their NFL draft. Then all these guys are free agents. They get signed. Now they have time to rest their body, go to OTAs, learn the system, because you can't just fucking all of a sudden play for one team and then also, we're going to pick you up on the New England Patriots. Here, learn our system within 1 week. It doesn't work like that. Gives them time to adjust. For the player standpoint, that's good. I understand the fan perspective on this.
Yeah. But that's the whole point. The fans, like, they're the people that are going to buy the tickets. They're the people going to increase their rating viewing. That's the market, which is crazy to say, like the fans market. I think that's the market they're ultimately going to like not cash in on.
I will say, because we got to wrap this one up, but I will say this. The XFL expands to 2 teams next year, San Antonio and Cleveland, because Cleveland had the second highest rating in that market. There was like an average of 3 million people watching it. Cleveland wants a good football team. They're just hungry for football.
They want to be XFL fans.
Well, I think
Ohio
in general would be a great place for an XFL franchise, just because it's the birthplace of football. Everybody in Ohio is a football
Columbus.
fiend, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
also, before we move on,
Canton team.
the Patriots actually signed somebody off the waiver wire. Breaking news a little bit. Lindsey Pipkins has been signed by the New England Patriots.
Just the guy we needed. Thank God. I lost sleep over that.
What's his name?
Browns last season. He did not play a game for the Browns. He was not dubbed good enough.
Name again.
Let's go get him on the Boston's Big
That
Three
sounds
podcast.
like an
Maybe I'll get
XFL
a jersey.
future Hall of Famer.
Wait, what's his name?
Lindsey Pipkins.
All right, Big Pip.
Lindsey
Listen to me, Big Pip. You're not going to be anything. All
He's
right.
the Malcolm Butler.
Let's dip into these reviews again, then we get to talk about the best team in Boston. We're gonna do 8
Bro,
because we missed a segment going in here. Someone just says Pat Mahomes' girlfriend. Get out of here. You haven't been listening. You know we hate her. Someone says Spike King, you a goat with the goat emoji. Actually, a good podcast. It's very informative, funny, and trustworthy. Young Gronk, formerly. Also, I got Tom, Gronk, Edelman's jerseys, and I'm trying to grow my collection to hang them when they're too small and rep from Texas.
Shameless plug.
But they
Shameless
ain't
plug.
got any
No.
stores like y'all do.
No.
Need me a Gilmore Calvin Noy jersey. I don't care. I couldn't think of a funny review, but I just wanted to say this is my favorite podcast. They have a bunch of great guys on the podcast. I love hearing their opinions on sports. I love coming home from class and listening to the podcast and watching YouTube videos on the Ride the Wave YouTube channel. If you haven't listened to Boston's Big Three podcast, I strongly recommend it to everybody. I don't know if I believe this kid.
I think that might be Brendan that wrote that.
I don't
know.
know.
It sounds.
I wrote one.
This sounds
sounds
like
this sounds like
he didn't do the homework reading. He didn't read chapters 2 to 6, but he had to spark note it and throw an answer there.
Hey, we got
count.
a YouTube plug there. That's fine. That's like
Do
telling.
have a
I like
YouTube
that
account,
one.
Everybody.
Guys, this channel is awesome. I could listen to it every day. Also, Andre Drummond just got stolen from Detroit, so if you see him, let him know. All right, I'll make sure I tell Andre Drummond.
Hey,
let's go.
Andre,
Keep it up, brothers, and keep
they
riding.
want you back in Detroit.
I'll let Timmy King know. Timmy King's got him on him.
And then last one, I host the show. Oh, this is Brandon. I host the show and I'm contractually obligated to say the show is awesome. It is awesome. Give us a listen. All right, who's the winner?
I'm gonna pick the winner right now, and it's that last one that you just read. That's it. You know who is that? Make sure you email.
Screw it. We're gonna give it to the kid who says
Yes.
yes is after class. You'll slide by, but let's see if you make it in the end. All right, the best team in Boston is the Boston freaking Celtics. They are good.
They're
Simple
really
as that.
good.
Celtics are
They're
good.
They're
team.
so good.
I mean, they're just good. There's no other way to explain it. This is a legitimate basketball team.
Yeah.
I've been saying for weeks, we need a trade for a big guy, all this stuff. A bunch of people saying we need to make a trade. And then you see how much off the court chemistry is so dependent in the NBA. Like you literally, it's 12 guys. It's not like a group of 53 or how many on MLB roster or NHL roster. It's a group of the same 12 to 15 guys. They hang out every single day, like do off the court stuff. Probably smoke all the weed together. Like they just get each other, and like they just know how to play with each other. They know that this is a team, and we don't care who gets touches. Me and my roommate, he's from Philly. We were arguing about this the other night because he's a big Sixers fan. He goes, why does Kemba only have 7 points? And it was like the third quarter. I'm like, Kemba Walker does his job perfectly. He lets Tatum and he lets Brown cook in the beginning. Get the shots falling, get them going, and then Tatum's they'll just hit big shots at the end. Kemba Walker doesn't need to play until the fourth quarter. That's when he needs to start scoring, kind of IT days. And he does that. He does that perfectly, I'd argue. He plays his role well. Daniel Tice takes a step. 0 people saw it coming. Yeah, he's not a stat stuffer, but if you're going to do the stat stuffer argument, then you have to keep the same smoke that you had with Al Horford saying he does everything off the ball that doesn't show up in the stat sheet. That's the same as Daniel Tice this year. And then who am I thinking? Oh, Gordon Hayward taking the step that we see we were hoping last year, but hey, he's good again now.
Al
No,
Horford
this
is
team actually
single-handedly
reminds me of
helping the
2013
Boston.
team a lot.
What?
No, this team really reminds me of the 2013 a lot. Kind of role guys like Evan Turner, kind of Daniel Tice. All these guys are kind of similar in the way that they are team-oriented first. We are one superstar. Except we have a superstar now, and his name is Jason Tatum. The Celtics are 9-1 in the last 10 games. Tatum over that span, averaging 25.7 points per game, 1 block, 3.5 assists, 7 rebounds, and he's shooting 44% from 3. That is unbelievable.
Boston Celtics, if you're listening, Danny Ainge, if you're listening, do not Mookie Betts Jason Tatum. Keep him. He
Give
needs
him
to stay
all the money.
forever.
All the
Ever
money.
keep him forever. We already have so many numbers up in the rafters. That's another number you can add up there. You can add another number up there, Danny. Like, that's what it's looking like.
Yeah, I can't stand this Danny
You
Ainge
add
hate
0?
train that everybody keeps going on. And not so much now, but early in the season, during the offseason, I had a couple schmucks just tell me, you know what? We need to move on from Danny Ainge. We need to fire his ass. He needs to go somewhere else.
I
You
hate
are an
those people.
absolute idiot. All of you. Absolute morons.
Those are the
I
same
mean,
people that
I
were
mean, you have the right
still
to
crying
do
about
that.
Anthony Davis.
What are you talking about, Babs? You have the right to do that. Danny Ainge is the best executive in the league.
Yeah, but there's been some times where he's had down years, like, and it feels like it's consistently over and over again.
Like
I mean,
when?
Danny
Like I said-
Ainge added a decade to his job by
Well, that-
drafting Markel Fultz. I mean, not drafting Markel Fultz. He's here for at
Exactly.
least 10 more years.
Exactly,
Off that
100%.
strictly that one move.
Okay, no,
Same
but
thing.
Babs,
Same thing. Like
what if the Bruins
2008
down-
Boston Celtics. He put that assembled that team together, and they won a championship. Then they went to the finals again in 2010. That kept his job pretty much through until like
this point.
2018. Yeah, to this point. Then he's like, there was a couple down years, and it felt like, all right, where are the Celtics gonna go? It's time to move on. It's time to move on. Jason Tatum falls right into his lap. He makes that move, makes him look smart. Now we're gonna be with Danny Ainge until 2028.
And the people who
the
don't
thing
like
about
Ainge
this-
is the craziest part, because name other GMs in the league who constantly field a team that is not in contention, but at least competitive. Like, yeah, use what's the guy's, the Raptors name? Usually, what's his name?
He built one team. He
Exactly.
Built
He built
team.
one team, but that one team has got him millions of job offers. Like, not obviously not millions. There's only X amount of teams, but he's being shopped around almost like a free agent when his contract runs up, because the GM in basketball is the most important position. Like, yeah, the owner is very important, but a GM in basketball is more important. Obviously, GMs are really important, but in basketball specifically, because there's such a few talents of people you could pick from. What is that? Is that my buzzer?
That's a fire,
Shut up.
I hear that. It's like a fire
That's a
alarm.
fire alarm,
Fire,
boys.
you gotta get out of there. Oh my god.
I'll be back.
Wait, turn off. If you gotta go, wait, stop it. All right, cool. That's what I
Good.
did.
I was gonna say this. The only other team that I can think of,
Bro, that happened.
dude, he's
that
on
happened-
fire with his takes. He's on fire.
That happened to me on Saturday. I was like, thank God. My fire alarm is substantially louder. It's like echoes through every single just small crack in my building. It just it's like a tornado warning.
There's only one other team out there that I could think on the top of my head that is consistently a playoff team and consistently done that. It's the San Antonio Spurs.
Exactly.
That's just another organization out there. Now they're starting to be on the downtrend, though. They're on the downtrend now.
The Thunder are an expansion team. You get lucky in the draft. You draft Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. But luck comes with the job.
Well, they didn't draft Kevin Durant, but
Okay, the Supersonics did, which the same same thing.
different
You get what I'm saying?
ownership.
Okay, either way, you have Kevin Durant, so that even speaks more into my case. You get luck along the way. That comes with the job. People need to give luck way more credit when it comes down to this stuff. You move on from KD. You move on from Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Paul George, all these superstar talents. They are the 6th seed in the West, a very good West. They played the Celtics incredibly well last game. They have nothing but cap space and draft picks in the next 4 years when Chris Paul's contract comes off the books. The Thunder, their management, they sound crazy. You got rid of all these big name players, but they're like, we need to build for the future. OKC fans, some of the best fans in the league. There's nothing in OKC, so they all go for Oklahoma football, but they all go in on the Thunder. So you have, like we were talking about with the XFL, that loyal fan base is there. The money's there because the ratings are there if you want to go to your TV point. And then, so just the Thunder's GM, like his point of view, he's the only one I could really compare to Danny Ainge, saying he just sees the long picture. Like GMs have to think 5, 6, 7 years ahead. And yeah, it'd be awesome to be competitive every single year. But that's why tanking is so prevalent in the NBA today. Like that's not going to go away no matter what.
It's good to be contending every year, but doesn't it suck when it's like over and over again, where it's like we can't get over this hump of like this first round or second round? I mean, that's what the Celtics feel like too. It's like we can't get over that hump of the Eastern Conference Finals. Like you're so close, you're so close. Like when are we gonna do this? When are we gonna do this?
Would you rather watch that or like an Atlanta Hawks who tank it every single year?
Nah, I'd rather be deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, you'd rather be in it because you never know. Kevin Durant goes down with an injury. Raptors NBA champions. You don't hope for injuries, but anything weird just happening, just off the court stuff, literally in game stuff, foul trouble during the games, technical fouls, suspensions, anything. Basketball is like one of the biggest momentum games of the league. That's why there's like a 20-point lead, really like a 10-point lead in this NBA, because you can hit 4 threes in a row. Next thing you know, you're on a 12 run. The game's a single-digit game.
If you're not a bandwagon Golden State fan right now, are you happy to just kind of take a year off because you do know that team's going to end up coming back next year?
100%.
Like,
They're going to be so good next year.
Isn't it crazy that they are a dynasty? They are a dynasty.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not that they're purposely tanking. It's
They're
just
like
how
taking
the
a
cards,
breather.
They're taking a breather.
Same with the Nets in a way, because they get fleeced by Danny Ainge, and I think his name is Vladdy something.
Yeah, the Russian.
Their GM did a very good job of the rebuild. You get Kyrie Irving, you get Kevin Durant, and what, 6 years later? 6-7 years later, Karis LeVert overproduced. Spencer Dinwiddie overproduced. D'Angelo Russell overproduced.
Jared Allen.
Yeah, Jared Allen. You have all these gems. This is why I argue, and I don't think that I'm wrong here. Like, this is something I'll die on. The NBA draft is the single most important draft in all of sports. They get people.
There's not as many picks.
Exactly. But they get people who can also instantly impact your team. Like we were just talking about in the MLB at the beginning of the show. You're not going to see a prospect for another, 4 or 5 years if you're lucky. And if they're really good, 3 years. NBA draft, you get Zion Williamson and the John Morants of the world. We were supposed to have a very good pick with that Memphis pick. John Morant comes in. Jaren Jackson Jr. takes a step. Dylan Brooks gets paid. Jonas Valanciunas, he's looking like the Raptors. Jonas Valanciunas. You have this trade for Justice Winslow. All very good NBA players. Like, there's a ton of very good NBA players. And there's in football, everyone has a job. But in basketball, if you just get 5 people who can straight up play basketball, you're going to be competent.
I was going to say, too, just saying how important the draft is. Just looking at some of the bottom feeders this year that are going to end up having a high draft pick, these are teams that are instantly playoff contenders next year. Golden State, Minnesota Timberwolves. Now with the new Timberwolves team that they're assembling together, and you get a draft pick. Not saying that they could possibly be an 8 seed next year.
And once they trade for Devin Booker.
There you go. Phoenix Suns is another team that's down there with Booker and their center plus Frank Kaminsky and all that. Yep. Then you look at Cleveland. Even now that they got Drummond and Kevin Love has been signed, but listen, they have Drummond, they have Kevin Love signed for 4 years. If they can get a good pick in the draft, and sometimes there's misses, Markelle Fultz. Sometimes there's misses in the draft, but if they can get somebody, Cleveland could become a contender next year. Saying.
But Cleveland drafted Anthony Bennett.
But that's what I just said. You can miss sometimes.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like with Cleveland specifically, they had 3 number 1 overall picks in the span of 4 years. Kyrie Irving won you a championship. Good pick. Obviously one of the best players in the league. Andrew Wiggins, one of the biggest number 1 pick busts in NBA history. He's underproducing. He's just not looking like he's going to have a great NBA career as people expected. Anthony Bennett, who might as well just playing hopscotch in the outside in the parking lot. He's like, hey, you're a huge dude. We're drafting you number 1 overall. Anthony Bennett wasn't even talked about. Yeah, but even though Greg Oden, he was having all this hype come out of Ohio State. Greg Oden was supposed to be the next big thing. He just had injuries getting his way. They just drafted incompetent people. Like, you can't say that with Andrew Wiggins, because Andrew Wiggins is good. He was like all those Canadian basketball awards. But even like teams saying the New York Knicks, how in baseball it's the rich get richer, there's no market. New York Knicks have, quote unquote, the biggest market in all the NBA because of the Madison Square Garden and the history of the team. The history of the team hasn't won anything. So I don't get why that's even an argument. But they drafted RJ Barrett. Good choice. Terrible player. Horrendous player. I never liked RJ Barrett. If you're going to keep drafting the names instead of what I think Danny Ainge does, he looks at the numbers, he looks at the efficiency, he looks at how is this player going to fit my system? And then Milwaukee took a different approach with this. They found Giannis in the draft. They get lucky with him. And then they say, let's build our team around Giannis. And this is why they're one of the best teams in NBA history statistically right now. I don't know. I think the draft is just way too important to fumble. Going back to like full circle right here, which is why Danny Ainge will always have a job in Boston, is because he looks at the Grant Williams in the late first round picks. He looks at the Carson Edwards in the second rounds, or Taco Fall going undrafted, and you see him as just a straight up asset. You can't look at players as the name. You have to look at them how they fit your system in the NBA, because it's all systems in the NBA now.
Nice.
All right. Let's go over the last couple of reviews, go through some DMs, and we'll get out of here. Last few reviews are oh man, I closed out of the app. You got the hold with me, folks.
I think this was a great idea, using the reviews.
Yeah,
right,
no, I appreciate everyone that's out there, and Tyler and I have been talking about doing a major giveaway. I'm cleaning the house right now. I got a lot of things to move around. I mean, dude, here's the thing. Like, look at this Bud Light helmet that I have. Like, you think I'm ever gonna use this thing? Like, I don't know. Like, I got a lot of stuff that I get gifted to me. People give me things I find. Like, I'd rather give them back to those out there that would appreciate it a lot more. So I will say this on the podcast. I think I'm going to do a banner giveaway. I'm going to give away all 6 Patriots banners together. Those are so rare to rare to find. You cannot get them anywhere else unless you get them made somewhere, and that's even hard to do. These things are the best things that you can have for any man cave. I think I'm going to give that away to somebody. And we want to keep building our listeners, and we appreciate everyone that's been I told you, how long have I harped at you? We need to get on Apple. We need to get on Spotify, and it's already been a difference.
This is by far the best podcast I've heard in a long time. The crazy personalities from Ride the Wave Media, Brian, Michael, and Rich, who just aren't on the show. There's never been a Michael. There's never been a Rich.
My name's Brandon.
Yeah. Share their thoughts into the events
His name's
going
Tyler.
on. In the both. It's not even close. Both. Like Michael and Rich, my name begins with a T. There's not a single T in there. Like,
Stop right there, because that person wins. Because we wanted a funny comment, and that's it right there. And when I read that, I was like, this guy either doesn't watch or he just purposely said that, and it made me laugh.
Oh, yeah, the rest of these things. All right, congrats, CKEO 80. If you're listening to this, my name's Tyler, first and foremost.
And my name's Brandon.
You can go kick rocks. No, you won
in New Jersey.
All right.
Guess who's back?
All right,
Back
so we picked
again.
our winner.
Joe, we gave someone a jersey.
CK.
Oh, yeah? Who did the jersey to?
CKE. I don't know how to say his name. He doesn't know my name, so I don't know his name. Simple as that. CKEO 80.
Just reach out to me, the Spike King, and you'll get your jersey.
However, if you do not reach out by next Tuesday,
They'll have a fake fire alarm for you too.
we are having a new winner. We can't have the people waiting. Like, if this kid's not gonna claim his prize, we can't just.
He'll claim his prize.
He better be.
Sure.
And again, my name is Tyler. You bozo. All right, let's go through some DMs, wrap up, and then
we outie.
Yeah, sorry, I was reading text. All right, want to go to the Ride the Wave page or the Spiking page first? I don't think many people ask on the Ride the Wave page.
All of the above.
No, we got a couple. All right, we got 3. We got a bot. Nice. It says hey.
Nice.
Hi, bot. T-Gun.
What?
Yes, question.
Oh, wow, T-Guns, thank you for making it all the way this long in the podcast. You know what? T-Guns, a new avid listener of the Boston's Big 3. T-Guns when you're a podcast listener, you have your certain podcasts that you listen to. I know he's all about the MMA, the Joe Rogan Experience. He's got to listen to maybe some fantasy footballers, and he listens to this and this and this. We just made the crack at the bottom of the list, but hopefully we could slowly rise up there.
T-Guns asks, with Betts and Price gone, what is realistic win total for the Sox next season? I think play 162 games. You win. You go 81 and 81.
I think their ceiling is 91 wins. That's if everything goes right.
Let's just say 92. That was the number I'm going with that, Brendan. I'll say 91 with you.
91 and a half by the line.
91 and a half, yeah.
Stafford?
I don't have a freaking clue. Not one clue.
Simple. Not Joe memes. No matter what, these are not Joe's memes. Thoughts on the Celtics?
I swear it's not me. I swear to God it's not me.
Thoughts on the Celtics not making a trade at the deadline for a big man?
I'm cool with it.
Can't like 24. Hindsight is 20. Oh my God, I can't see. What is
we
this?
Talked about
it.
We talked about a few weeks ago
vision. I don't even
where
know.
we knew Danny Ainge wasn't going to do anything.
We
wanted a big man come to town, but we weren't getting our expectations up for he's going to make this blockbuster deal that's going to put us over the top. We knew what to expect with Danny Ainge. He's had all these picks for so long, and we just kind of wait on.
And there's still a chance they can add somebody. I'm sure that they can put on the roster, but I also want to give a shout out to Cantor because I thought his video was funny when the clock
Yeah.
was ticking down. And then he
Didn't get
drew like
traded.
little angels.
The winner of the podcast asked the question. TKEO.80.
Oh, is it him?
Where do you think this Bruins team is headed? Are they going in the right direction?
No talk on the Bruins ever on this podcast.
I don't
think
know
they're headed-
anything
ever,
about
ever.
the Bruins. I don't care about the Bruins until playoff
Boston
season. I'm
Bruins.
100% that person.
The Boston Bruins. This is what it is. Because I actually have a real job out there, and
Do
all
you?
the guys at my work.
Ooh.
All the guys at my work.
job.
A real job. Well, people say you don't have a job, this and that. They don't understand. They all love the Boston Bruins. They're all about Bruins season. Here's my thing. Hockey season for me does not start till April. I don't give a shit about hockey season until it's April and the regular season's over. Playoff hockey's on a whole other atmosphere. The Boston Bruins are the best team right now in the league, and they don't feel like it, but they are. Tuukka has a shot to what's the Venzia winner? Is that how you say it? Venzia Trophy, the best
Sure.
goaltender in hockey. He has a
Not
shot
sure
to
about-
win it.
The
He has a
Bruins also just lost to first place Detroit, so
Last place Detroit.
last place Detroit. My bad.
Yeah,
What else?
twice this season they've done that, and they're playing them again this Saturday. And tickets to get into that game are $125. Like, it's crazy. I think that the Bruins are hungry. The Bruins are hungry because of last year's loss. But anything can happen in hockey. Look at Tampa Bay. They had like the most points ever scored. They were the best team, and it's just all of a sudden they lose in the first round.
They always stink in the
Swept
playoffs.
in the
bro.
first round.
They always stink in the playoffs. That's just like
Yeah.
their thing. That's their
That's-
signature thing.
Yeah, that's
I
their
wish we
brand.
could. I wish
You
we
know
could
what
show
they are?
more love
You know
to
what they are the Cincinnati Marvin Lewis Bengals of the NHL. That's exactly what they are.
Undefeated.
We're not talking Bruins until it's April. It's the first, whoever they're playing the first round. And then once we watch the games, because all four of us will most likely be watching the
That's
game.
the only time I watch
That's
hockey.
the only time we'll ever talk about the Bruins. The Bruins will be lucky to even make it 2 months on this podcast about the end of them getting talked about.
Just hockey needs to be more exciting in the regular season, man. If it's an
XFL
NBA game,
more
or
love.
Where are you at?
The XFL
All right.
gets more love than hockey.
2 more questions because we got a lot of repeats that we've been talking about the whole show. AKARNDT8. I don't know how to say that. Neither do you.
Acorn.
Would you want Phil Rivers on the Patriots?
if
no.
I know Tom Brady's gone, I'd take him.
Actually, I have a Philip Rivers take
Hello?
for you. Philip Rivers will be wearing a Tampa Bay Buccaneers jersey next season. Bruce Arians is infatuated with this guy. There's already been preliminary interest, and it fits. There's weapons down there: Godwin, Evans, Howard. Ronald Jones was actually a solid running back last season, making another step maybe this next season. All the pieces are there. Philip Rivers could actually maybe win a little bit down in Florida.
The
I
second
kind of
that they
assumed he'll sign there.
Yeah, it's the second that they said that he's moving to Florida, you already knew he was going with Tampa Bay. Like, I mean, like, if you have a brain, you know that he's going there. There's no way that Rivers is going to want to play in the cold weather up here come like
So
December
Jameis.
or playing shitty weather. Just go playing down in Tampa down there.
So Jameis to Foxborough.
Last question. Boston Sports Center 617. Recently, the Celtics.
Does
have
he know who
gotten
Kevin Millar
themselves-
is?
I was gonna get there. Recently, the Celtics have gotten themselves to the big holes early. Is this a concern? I was gonna say you should ask Kevin Millar, but Babs had to say, no. If you're 9-1 in your past 10 games, this is just
If you're
the winning
winning.
method. Yeah, you go down
Yeah.
early. This has always been the Celtics.
Gotta
Normally
get 'em
it's a strong-
thinking.
Normally, it's a strong first quarter, and then they blow it in the second, and then they kind of blow it halfway through the third. They start to make a comeback, and in the fourth quarter, it's anyone's game. Now, I think that's just the way the NBA goes. You kind of put your foot off the gas and then pedal to the metal in the last quarter.
No, honestly, I think it's more Brad Stevens' substitution than anything. I feel like he's one of the weirder coaches in the league where he cycles these guys through every once in a while. It doesn't really make any sense. There's no cohesion of the lineups he's putting in sometimes. I remember a few years ago, the worst case of this was when James Young played for 5 straight fourth quarters in crunch time. That was the worst part. James Young in the corner. Why the fuck is James Young in the game? We're down 3 points. But no, he'll get it together eventually. It's just kind of a Brad Stevens thing where he just thinks through these lineups in his head on the spot and kind of puts these guys in positions where they shouldn't usually be in.
All right. Any final thoughts before we wrap up today's show?
Pitchers and catchers reported to spring training today. It's almost
Without a Red
baseball.
Sox manager. We'll talk about that next week.
We got a manager. His name is Ron Renicky.
All right. That's worse
Um,
than Pip.
I just wanted a little advisement before we go. March and April are always the most bullshit part of the year for the NFL, where everything's just getting thrown out there. No matter if there's any substance, if there's anything connecting to anything, it's all just noise. Block it out. Listen to the mock drafts that are coming out right up to the combine, and don't listen to all the things the teams are throwing into the wind, because this is their job. This is their livelihood. They're very good at it, and it's all entertainment based. Stick to what they told you right after the combine.
But Michael Irving said that the Tom Brady is going to go to Dallas Cowboys.
Michael Irvin's a cartoon character. This dude's an absolute moron. Also, fun fact, he almost killed a guy in a Dallas Cowboys facility. He stabbed someone in the neck with a pair of scissors.
People forget.
Also, fun fact, when I was at Ty Law's Hall of Fame celebration weekend, I seen Michael Irvin walking out with what it looked like 2 prostitutes, and hopefully I'm not offending maybe his wife and his wife's sister, but was walking, and I was filming it, and then a big black dude came up to me and said, "Put your phone down, stop filming," and then I filmed him walking away. So he is a character.
He's a cartoon character.
Tabs, any final thoughts?
Oh, hi. You know what? Shout out to Kevin Millar. Thank you. Maybe we can get him on a podcast. Probably never happens. Great that we get 30 episodes. Now we're on 31. We're trucking forward here. We always appreciate any feedback. If you have any problems, if you want me to kick Tyler Miller off the show, that's absolutely fine. We can absolutely do that. We can move on from that. And all I can say is 1-100.co. Keep buying them. The more tickets and raffle tickets you buy, the bigger Ride the Wave media can get. Seriously, we can keep going forward.
Is that Penn State is a basketball school officially. We are number 13 in the country. Unbelievable. Buy a shirt. I'm not going to plug
UConn is back.
Number 13 in the country. Number 2 in Big Ten.
This upcoming
football
March
school, basketball school, lax
Number
school,
6 in the
wrestling school,
conference.
volleyball school. We're just an athletic school.
What about
Joe
field
Paterno.
hockey?
Joe
Joe
Paterno,
hockey.
he did a thing. He also made us a child molesting school, but you know, it happens, man. Like,
Win a field hockey championship, then talk to me.
you're number 1 in the country and hiding scandals. All right, let's
What a wrap.
we're gonna record Thursday, episode Thursday or Friday morning. We're gonna go 2 a week from now on. A longer one on Tuesday with us 4, and then Thursday episodes. A mix of us 3. Someone will be out, and then a Ride the Wave media personality.
Or those who are listening there, give us a shout out. If you want to come on here and you could think you can test your luck,
I will have a fan come on.
We want fans on here. We can get you on to this podcast. You might embarrass yourself. We're going to be at you, but we'll see what ends up happening. Just come on.
We'll ruthlessly make fun of you for the rest of your life.
This is all right. If you got to this part of the episode, we're not going to advertise this at all. If you got to this part of the episode and you DM Ty Miller 508 saying, "I want to be on the next Boston's Big 3 episode," I will gladly have you on. I don't care who you are. If you got to this point, you are going to be on the next show or a show coming up in the very soon future. That is 100% fact. That's wicked fun. All right, so we'll see you then.
Mic drop.